Hello, we're Team Jammr, and quick show of hands, who here watches Netflix in bed? And who here has ever watched one episode that quickly turned into 7, and then it's 10 o'clock, 2 a.m., and you've got no idea what happened? Yeah, us too. Wouldn't it be great if you could just go to sleep when we intended to? But it's not that easy, because the problem is rooted in behavioral principles. You, like me, suffer from decision fatigue, and that means that our willpower wanes throughout the day. It makes it harder to make the right decisions, especially around bedtime. And you think you can watch one episode, and you'll just trade it for one episode's worth of sleep, but you're actually sacrificing quality of sleep. And it's never just one episode, is it? One quickly turns into 7, and that's because there's no pattern interrupt to stop the flow of constant consumption. That's why we created Jammr. Jammr encourages better bedtime habits and helps you get better quality sleep. How does it work? I'm glad you asked. Jammr is a physical product that connects to your Wi-Fi router, and it blocks incoming internet connections around bedtime. It's very simple and easy to use. It's plug and play. You buy Jammr, you connect it to your router, and then you pre-commit to your bedtime using the Jammr companion app. And then at bedtime, you get a notification to let you know that you can't watch Netflix anymore. So it's really easy to use. It's so easy to use that even an NBA could use it. So let's show you a journey with Hassan. Hassan gets home at 7 p.m. and starts watching Netflix. I'm not sure what day this is where he gets home at 7 o'clock in an NBA program, but he watches Netflix until 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, he gets this notification, and with nothing better to do, Hassan goes to sleep and feels well rested the next morning. We visualized this experience showing his willpower and excitement throughout the day. As we can see, he's not very excited through school, and as the day comes to an end, he begins to get excited, which really ramps up around 7 o'clock when he starts watching Netflix. At his pre-committed bedtime, or his ideal bedtime, Hassan's willpower is close to its lowest point. What do we think the chances of him peeling himself away from the screen are right now? Not much. This is where Jammr comes in. At his pre-committed bedtime, Jammr intervenes. And right now, if Hassan wants to continue watching Netflix, that's fine. But he's going to have to get out of his warm, comfortable bed, go all the way to his Wi-Fi router, and unjam his connection. But remember his decision fatigue? We're now using his own lack of willpower against him. Does this even work? Well, just ask my roommates. For the last 2 weeks, we conducted an informal study, and I unplugged our Wi-Fi internet router around 10 o'clock every night. With their permission, of course, kind of. But the results were actually astonishing. We used the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index, which is a self-assessment survey, to try and find out if this is really working. And it turns out that my roommates average 54 minutes more sleep every night, up for an average of 6 hours the 2 weeks before. And even more importantly, a 21% improvement in sleep quality. But does anyone really care? Well, it seems that the answer is a resounding yes. We estimate that 3.84 million households in Canada could use Jammr. Statistics Canada surveyed more than 10,000 people on their sleep habits, and 83% of them admitted that they do not get enough restful sleep. More so, a third of them would pay $500 for just a week of restful sleep. So so they would pay $500 for a week of restful sleep, especially since Jammr will save Canadians 125 hours of sleep annually. 125 hours, big deal. Well, let's quantify that. Those 125 hours per person per year can translate into a $17 billion potential GDP boost. I've been waiting 6 weeks for this. $17 billion. That's how big the sleep problem is in Canada alone. It's such a big market, but is anyone doing anything about it? They're trying, but they're just not good enough. Apple Bedtime comes with your Apple iPhone, and it prevents specific app usage, but it's so easy to override. 2 thumb clicks, and you're back to doing what you were doing before. The 8 Smart Mattress. It's definitely comfortable, and it'll probably improve your quality of sleep, but it's $999, not accessible to everyone, and realistically, we know you're just going to be more comfortable while you're watching Netflix into the early hours of the morning. We're going to be using a pull-based strategy. We want to first target the innovators. These are the health tech enthusiasts. These people who go out looking for this type of device. And so we're going to put it in the hands of reviewers and influencers so that these people can find this device and start using Jammr. We're so confident they're going to like it and become ambassadors and advocates for the brand. We're offering 110% 6-week money-back guarantee. At a price of $49.99, we're using a transactional-based revenue model. We're selling one physical product, and the companion app comes free. All of our costs are baked into this price, so we know that we're going to be profitable. We know how difficult it is to monetize apps and web browser extensions, so we're using this and distributing through brick and mortar, traditional brick and mortar, and online retailers, so that we can really get the reach for our target market. It's going to position us perfectly for growth. Growth. Setting the foundations, scaling operations, penetrating new markets before expanding globally. We envision a world where everyone sleeps, dreams, and lives better. And what better team to make it a reality than the one that's standing right here? With expertise in telecommunications, health tech, engineering, and healthcare, we truly believe that we have what it takes to make Jammr a global success. That might sound ambitious, but hey, we're dreamers. Good night.
Thank you for that presentation. I'm a new mom, so I will pay a lot of money to sleep.
Glad to hear that.
For some sleep. Just talk to me about, I think that's very smart that you guys want to do that, because getting out of my bed would be quite a challenge. But the simple fact about how it switched from Wi-Fi to my data and continue watching, have you guys thought about, how to counteract that?
Thank you for asking. Yes, we did actually think about that. Hassan's going to take that question here.
So, you can just take the microphone. So the whole idea with the app is that it'll be downloaded on your phone. And the way it works is it's as if you disconnected from the data, so it disables your LTE in sync with the Jammr device. And that way you won't have access to data, but you can still, like in case of emergency, still receive calls or text message or do whatever you can with the exception of data usage.
Mm-hmm. So then you're basically stopping the flow of just internet in general, because you're working against all the apps who are constantly trying to get me to continue using it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, just to add to Queenie's question. And so does it turn off for the whole household, or is it just for the specific person or people in the household?
That's a great question. And you can actually specifically choose different bedtimes for every user that's connected to the device. So if you wanted to work a little bit later and you're there till 11 p.m., you can do that. But if you're teenage children who are prone to using their phone late into the night, you can set their bedtime earlier.
Great, thanks. One other question around your distribution model. So you mentioned you were going to do like a brick and mortar distribution. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yep, I can take that one. Thank you. The 90% of physical products are sold in brick and mortar stores still. So that's why we're going through those channels initially. We have a slide for this, sorry. Here. Initially, we're going to start online. We're going to start through the Jammr website. And that's because health and tech enthusiasts, the innovators, they don't go into brick and mortar stores, right? So we're going to be selling through our own website, which we're going to promote by getting the product in the hands of reviewers and online influencers, so they can really start getting in the hands of those 2.5% innovators really nice and early. Then as we move into the early adopters, the early majority and the late majority, this is where we're going to start broadening our reach into brick and mortar stores so that we can get Jammr in the hands of those people too.
Was there a particular store or a set of stores that you guys were thinking about?
Yep, so online would be, of course, the Jammr website and Amazon, since most searches actually start at Amazon now. Then in terms of traditional brick and mortar stores, we're going to be operating through perhaps Best Buys, Indigos, places where you can purchase gadgets, but also that you can look for specific tech products like this that maybe need a little bit of explanation. So Best Buy would be an example of one of those in Canada and the US.
Another question for you. How do you plan to convince an average consumer who has the downtime app on the phone, who's easily be able to recreate what you recreate, but having to purchase it for $49.99 and not to say to go into a brick and mortar store to purchase something, to do the same thing.
Good question. Cassie's going to take this one.
Yes, I'll take that one there. So what we're thinking with that is really, as Joe was talking about going into the early adopters and early majority, they're the people that need the proof that this is something that actually works. And I think everyone that has an Apple phone, or even now it's like digital well-being on the Androids, it doesn't work. They know it doesn't work because they just dismiss it and keep using it. And so what we're planning to do with the marketing campaign and the infographics is to really try and give them that social proof and trying to influence them into moving to use it. And with that money back guarantee, I think it secures the fact that they can try it, and if it's not working for them, then they can bring it back to us and we'll refund them the purchase price.
Great, thank you.
Let's say you guys won the 10 grand. What's the first major decision you guys are going to make around spending it?
Good question.
Thank you.
I can take that one because I'm the business development focused. And so one of the things that we need to focus on is going to be the aesthetic of the design, and we're going to have to work on prototyping and seeing how the customer experience works with, connections, and then using the app and if it works in the home. So I think one of the first things we're going to have to work on is getting a physical version and seeing if people actually like it.
1 minute left.
Thanks, Spike. The 17 billion? Yeah. I can tell you how we got to that. Yeah?
Sure.
Sure? Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Safe can take this one.
I guess I could talk from here. That's fine. Oh, yeah, I do need that. Thank you, Joe. Okay, so what we looked at doing, that's not the right slide, yeah. Yeah, that's the one. Two more. Up. Yeah, okay, I'll do it really quickly. Basically what we did is we looked at the overall population of Canada, used major factors and statistics to narrow that number down to size our market, and then we ended up at 3.84 million households based on stat count and all that stuff that Joe mentioned. And then taking that number of people, we moved on to say, okay, so based on minimum wage, if all of them were to work just a minimum wage based on those 125 hours, which basically translate into one office episode a night, which is why we think it's a conservative number that translates into $17 billion in boost into the economy. That's just direct savings. There are more indirect savings that involved, with potentially less sick days, with people that live healthier lives, more innovation, less strain, all that good stuff. Thank you for the question, though. It was great.
Thank you very much again, Jammr.